My name's Claudia Nicholson and I live in Sydney. For the National, I've made an alfombra de acerrín, which is a traditional sawdust carpet. It's a dedication tribute work to Selena Gomez, who is a Tejano musician who died in '95. She was killed by the president of her fan club. She was one of the first pop stars to straddle her Mexican and American heritage. She meant a lot to a lot of people. Selena Gomez was named after her. Jennifer Lopez got famous sort of playing her in a biopic. When I do research, I'll be looking into pop culture and history, and I just sort of conflate them all together. Pop culture is important in my practice because growing up, that was a really accessible way to learn about Latina culture. Having been adopted from Colombia and raised in Sydney, my practice goes hand in hand with a desire to know about where I come from and to really get my head around the politics and the cultures of Latin America. So my practice is sort of an ongoing investigation of those things. We laid down about 200 kilos worth of sand for this one. You pat it down like a flat biscuit almost, and then I've been dyeing the sawdust in my studio prior to install and dried it out. So you then get a base colour, which in this case is black, and then the stencils go on top and you stencil out the colours like a painting almost. The colours that I've used are a real reference to her and her costumes, because she designed all her own costumes, and that was a really big part of her building of identity that I was interested in. There's a white rose, and that's sort of symbolic of mourning for Selena. So there was lots of white roses at her funeral, and now a single white rose is sort of seen as a symbol of her. There's also some counterfeit branding that I've bought in that don't necessarily align directly with Selena, but are more sort of a nod towards cultural authenticity, and I like to incorporate them into my work because I am dealing with these traditional practices that I do have a connection to, but at the same time I'm a bit away from or separated from, so I like to put these little indications of that in. The carpets are traditionally done in the streets, so like during Semana Santa in Guatemala, for example, whole blocks and streets are just lined with these carpets, and they're made by families and community groups. So they'll be made together overnight very quickly, and then a religious procession comes and walks over them almost immediately. So that's another reason why I like to bring performative elements in, to sort of stay true to the ephemeral nature of the works. For this work, there'll be a tribute concert. I have Azahares de Slaza, a dance group. I also have a group of 6 teenagers from Sydney, predominantly Chilean heritage, but one of the girls is Colombian, and they are a traditional Andean folklore band. And then I've got Coco Kari, who's a queer Sydney-based artist, and she'll be doing an impersonation of Selena. They're quite visually pleasing, the works, and people usually really like them, so hopefully they'll respond positively.